Hey everybody, this is Kara Crossway Brindle. Just wanted to get back on the channel. Had a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share here in early 2026. As a part-time faculty, these are things I'm noticing with my students and was curious if you're noticing them too. So right now my students have just gotten through an intake session. They're perfecting their informed consent blurb and spiel. And something I was noticing is this vibe or a subconscious message of, hey, here are the four limits of confidentiality. And if you have any of these things going on, maybe don't tell me. And as clinical supervisor and mental health leader, that's ick for me. Like, I want clients to feel like they can say anything they need to say with the awareness that these are the limits of confidentiality, where our confidentiality might be broken in that therapeutic relationship. So instead of having my students reinforce the ick feeling of, hey, don't tell me that, of course, these are role plays they're doing right now. Let me make that clear. I'm having them think about a different aspect of language. Language is power, language has impact, words have impact. So, how does this land for all of you? Instead of the ick factor of, hey, here are the limits of confidentiality, please don't tell me anything related to those, could we say, hey, here are the four limits of confidentiality, and what you choose to share in therapy is your choice. You have complete autonomy in making that choice. To me, that feels much more empowering and a little less ick. Curious what you all think about that. Of course, there's lots of other ways that we could say this, but that was the one I gave my students of like, let's avoid the ick factor of please don't tell me things. As someone who talks about suicide every week, I have a big beef with that versus can we give them complete autonomy and make sure that they're aware that these are the limits of confidentiality. So would love your thoughts in the comments below if you want to engage with me on this. The second piece I've already alluded to, I talk about suicide every week as a suicide assessment trainer, as a clinician survivor, and as someone who's passionate about the topic. And so my students also have just finished a suicide video where they're practicing how to ask directly about suicide. So another little thing here, word committed has been thrown out for years and years, but still shows up in the media. And so having them figure out how to say this directly without saying the word committed, because that feels either legally yuck or religious or spiritually yuck. And so we want to say died by suicide as the other phrase. But additionally, how do we ask directly about suicide? This is my passion with my students of how do we get more comfortable asking this? How do we notice our face and our body language and what we do when we ask about it? What words do we use? So just another thing that was on my mind this week as I'm doing video reviews for my students. We're halfway through our quarter and wanted to just bring this back out to the community. Get your thoughts. What words and phrases do you use? What do you say in informed consent to help clients understand the limits of confidentiality? And if you have the conversation about are they having suicidal thoughts, what does that look like or sound like for you? So would love to hear from you, and I'll jump back on the channel when I have more inspiration to come back and chat. See you later.